Joining us now to decode the impact of the Supreme Court's order is the President of the Society for Indian Automobile Manufacturers, or SIAM, Vinod Dasari, also of Ashok Leyland. Mr. Dasari, appreciate you joining us here on CNBC TV 18. Let me start by asking you, you have no choice but to comply with the Supreme Court order. But what are the implications going to be? Because this is not just about Delhi any longer. This is about the national capital region, 34,000 kilometers.
While with due respect to the court, like you said, everybody will honor their directive, but I find the order rather illogical for three reasons. First and foremost, Government of Delhi had conducted a study which says that 20% of the pollution in Delhi comes from road transport. Out of this 20%, 15% is from passenger cars. That makes it 3% coming from passenger cars, and more than half the vehicles in Delhi are not diesel. So you're down to about 1%. Now, Shireen, my question to you is, it is not only it's coming from 1%, the second thing you will have is that you're banning purchase of new vehicles. So what will person do? He will continue to use his old vehicle. That means you will have vehicles which are Euro 2 and Euro 3 emission norms, where we could be selling Euro 4 norms. And that is 10x more pollution than what these vehicles used to, the new vehicles have. The third problem is, if you say diesel will be taxed higher or diesel will be banned, people who have to have a new car will then buy a petrol vehicle.
Right.
Now, petrol has nearly 30% higher carbon dioxide, which is a greenhouse gas. So on one hand, we have the Prime Minister saying that we will all abide by COP21 and we will reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and we are making worldwide pledges, and here we are doing something counter to it. So it is rather unfortunate that it has happened like this. There are two other implications. One implication is that since the court has said that we will ban vehicles which are older, I think that needs to be enforced. SIAM and the entire auto industry has been saying this for nearly 5 years. That fleet modernization is the only way to improve pollution. Now, somebody has to enforce this. The auto industry cannot enforce it. By saying that I will not let you sell new vehicles, by fine. But pollution is not going to get addressed by that. Right. So I find it very illogical. But I hope that the Supreme Court directive will now be enforced by the government in much better ways.
Okay, Mr. Dasari, let's talk about what we can now expect on the ground as far as vehicle manufacturers are concerned. What happens to the inventory that's at dealerships, and what will this finally mean in terms of production and significant production cuts, at least for manufacturers like M&M, which are completely diesel-oriented?
Well, I'm sure they'll find alternate ways. They'll either convert to petrol, or they will start to sell in other parts of the country. I can't comment on behalf of a specific company. But, the larger problem for the auto industry, Shireen, is that we have at least 5 different government agencies mandating regulations onto this industry. Then you have every NGO, somebody saying you should bring Euro 6 immediately. Shireen, I ask you a simple question. We have been making, this car industry and auto industry in India is making Euro 4 vehicles since 2010. But we are not able to sell them nationwide because fuel is not available. Is that an auto industry fault? So, you can beat on auto industry all you want, but auto industry cannot do anything. They say we should have Euro 5 by 2019, or the fuel will be available only in 2020. So, on one hand, there is no repercussions for lack of enforcement of these old vehicles. There is everybody mandating. Somebody says odd even kar do. Somebody says let us go to ban diesel. Somebody says let's bring Euro 6 immediately. Auto industry is not something where you can make flippant decisions. We have the Indian auto industry has been adopting the emission and safety norms faster than any country in the world. We are happy to work with the government and the larger industry, larger diaspora to say, how can we bring this faster? We'll be very happy to work. But please, let us make one roadmap.
Well, I am sure that you will continue to represent your case to the government as well as the court. But Mr. Dasari, for now, appreciate you joining us here on CNBC TV 18 with your thoughts. That's the president of SIAM. We've started hearing from auto companies. Already companies like Mercedes-Benz now suggesting that they could review their investment plans for India, and this could even lead to job cuts.